Steve Pope is a psychotherapist specialising in addiction, depression and anxiety, and he joins us now. Steve, thank you very much for coming on this morning.
Well, thanks for having me. I declare from the outset I am a Tottenham fan, so it's been something as a professional and personally I've watched over the years. And probably the first point, listen to what you guys were saying, I think you've got your finger on the pulse, but the first point I'd make is that some people in Tottenham, some players in Tottenham have known Dele's problem, and I appreciate that in the football community, we look after each other, but they've enabled this problem. And I don't believe that with all the psychological team that were around Dele Alli, somebody somewhere hasn't been raising this issue for some time. That's what doesn't fit for me. But what I've heard today, he's come out, he's put his cards on the table. There's no hiding place for Dele Alli now, is he? It's great news. He's faced his demons, face everything and recover, and that's what he's done from today. I think it's a great, he's an exceptionally gifted footballer. And I think it's a great day for him, because he can't hide behind drugs anymore, because people know it's his problem and people are going to be there to help him, and people see him acting strangely in training, people see him acting, God forbid, strangely on the football pitch. They're all going to be there to assist him now. But it's a never-ending battle for Dele in addiction now. You go into your rehab, which can be the 5-star hotel. I've worked in them. I know what they're like. Charge you a lot of money for 4 weeks. But then when you come out, you've got to live life on life's terms when he comes out of that rehab. And this is where he's got to keep his treatment going. He's got to keep his contact with people in treatment going. And he's got to keep working at it. And I see so many people who just do the time in the rehab and think, woo, I'm cured. But they're not. You're never cured of addiction. All you do is keep it locked in a cage, keep it pushed to one side, and you get on with the rest of your life. But you've got to keep that recovery battery topped up. So this is Dele's real battle now, in that week in, week out, he's got to fight addiction. And, I hope he does it, because he's given me some of my greatest times at Tottenham Hotspur. He was a classic Tottenham player, wasn't he? He was exciting, he could do it all, and he was a legend there, And I found it very emotional watching that today as a professional. A great interview from Gary Neville. I don't often say that about anything to do with United, but he was a great interview. And I'm with him. I'm sorry to ramble on, but your call came in today and it's left me feeling very emotional. So I'm delighted to help.
Steve,
so any questions, fire away.
Yeah, just the point you made there about Tottenham facilitating his issues. I'm sure if anyone from Spurs is listening, they would take issue with that. And I've got friends who are going through trauma or addiction, and I know from trying to help those guys out that actually you have to want to be helped. It's very difficult for anybody to get out of the mire if they're not willing to listen to advice, or they're not willing to admit they have a problem. Clearly, he's now willing to admit that he has had issues, and that's why he's checked himself into rehab. I think it would have been very difficult for anybody at Spurs, and he's mentioned how close he was to Harry Kane and Eric Dyer, to actually try and put him on the right path if he didn't want to go down that path at that moment in time.
Yeah, no, I'm not criticising anybody. Players-wise, you look after your own, and they will have given them support. We know Dyer's that kind of. Harry Kane, you can tell they're both good human beings. They care about the rest of the team. You can see that week in, week out. They care. So I'm not saying that, but sometimes, whether it's family or friends, we enable something by Dele would have said, yeah, I'll get it right. I won't do any more sleepers. I won't have any more drink. And they'll go, okay, Del. And then he'll go back to it, because Dele wasn't strong enough to beat it on his own. So I'm not saying that's the problem. What I'm saying is that as a psychotherapist, and I've worked 20 years in football, I could see from 3 or 4 years ago, I used to say to everybody, my kids, they would tell you I drove them mad by saying, Dele's got a drug problem, Dele's got an addiction problem, and I could see it. It was clear there to see. And all I question is that the professionals around him, I'm talking about the psychology side, did they pick up on it? Why didn't they act on it? Why was it covered up? If it was covered up, and I'm not
sure it was covered up. I'm not sure it was covered up.
Well, if it's a major addiction, which according to Dele it was, then the question, why wasn't it acted on?
Okay,
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not here to cast aspersions. I know where you're coming from, but for me as a professional, it's clear as day. For the last 3 or 4 years, I've seen what's happening.
Steve,
to the point. So
how important is it, though, that Dele has given this interview so that there can be more understanding with his situation, but more light shed on the problems that addiction can cause, and that other people may well end up benefiting from the interview?
Oh, look, Dele Alli is a human being. He's been to hell and back through his young life. That's clear. You know, he was an innocent that was led down all the wrong paths there was to go down. He's come and made a stand, and there'll be people suffering right now in sport, and you know, whether it's gambling, whether it's, you know, other undetectable drugs the FA don't pick up in football. They'll listen to Dele's story, and you know, he'll save lives. He's very brave in what he's done. You know, as you said earlier, Tyson Fury's done similar. You know, he's turned the corner. You know, we do not choose to be addicts. We do not choose to have this problem. We can choose how we deal with the problem, like you've said, and we can, if we want it enough, you know, we can find a cure. Well, not a cure. We can find an answer to it, which means we have a life again, and we can enjoy doing what we're good at in life again. And Dele's turned that corner now, but he's got to keep going. You know, as I say, he's going to keep working at it day in, day out. But of course, he's going to save lives. And you know, I've put that interview today on all our group recovery pages, and I've asked all our patients to watch it. So that's what I think of it, because I think it's straight from the heart. And you know, he said what his problems were when he's younger, but those. You know, he's got to manage his problem today, which is staying clean, staying sober, and doing what he's good at, and where he can get his primary buzz from, which is football. And the other thing, of course, is that footballers, as all good sportsmen, are obsessive personalities. You have to be a good footballer.
Yeah, it's something we were talking about on the breakfast show this morning. Actually, you know, that sort of level of personality that's required, that day in, day out fighting to be at the top, because you know there's someone on your coattails every single day. That takes its toll over time as well.
Of course it does. And you think about it, right from the age of 5 or whatever age they hit academy, you know, it's football. They're told what to do, how to do it, and it's the perfectionist obsessive that, as you say, works their way through to the top of the tree. And that obsessive personality, as you see with George Best, as you saw with Paul Gascoigne, can divert from the high that football gives you into the highs of other distractions, which can be drugs, alcohol, or, you know, whatever. And that personality is always looking for sensation. You know, Paul Gascoigne once said, didn't he? He said, I was playing at Lazio, he said, and I was 60,000 people thought I was a hero. Then I went back to my flat, sat in my flat, and I wanted that high, I wanted that buzz. And that's when things started creeping into Gazza's life. You know, it was that they need a buzz all the time. So Dele's got to get his original buzz back from the football. He's got to keep working at that now. And, you know, but Dele's come out and said it, but people are going to believe in him. But Dele's got to do it for himself, but he's got to do it for all the people that are going to believe in him now. You know, he's... And I think, just going back to what you said about after the, you know, that game where he picked up the injury, Tunisia, I think at that stage he went through a relationship breakup as well, didn't he, around that time? And I think that affected Dele Alli materially. You know, the one thing Dele would want in life is a stable relationship. He lost that, and I don't know how or why, but he lost that. And if you look at the story of his life, he's been pushed from pillar to post. And I think that relationship breakdown was one of the big factors that Dele's never really come back from. And hopefully now he's found that peace and that stability, and he can go out there and do what we all love seeing him do. I'm not so sure seeing him do it in an Everton shirt is going to bode that well for me, but you know, I've still got a signed shirt on the wall. That's, you know, and it'll stay there in his Tottenham kit. But I really hope he does it.
Steve, in your professional opinion, you've already alluded to the fact this is really just the first step, and that maybe there may be other occasions when he needs to go back into rehab. What is the next significant step now in terms of Dele Alli trying to manage his demons and therefore getting back to his best on the pitch?
Well, hopefully never has to. Rehab is like the Medivac station. You know, they get them in there, they clean them up, they hit them with intensive psychotherapy, group therapy every day. Well, hopefully where Dele's going to be at now, and hopefully if he's been in one of the normal private mental health institutions. I've worked in them, so I know about them. They'll have him on a follow-up weekly chat with his counsellor. They'll have him hopefully doing either online group sessions or going to group sessions. He has to keep that up, because you come out of the rehab with all the best intentions in the world, born again, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to come clean, tell the world my problems. That's what we all do. But then that battery of recovery will slowly erode, slowly go down, because you're going to keep that battery chopped up by reminding yourself on a weekly, daily basis of what your issue is, where it's going to take you. The disease of addiction never takes a day off. It's waiting for you every day. So what you have to do is keep it at bay, and that's by keeping your recovery battery chopped up. And that's what Dele's got to do. And hopefully Everton, if he sticks with Everton, will make sure that he's at his recovery every day, every week, and certainly for the next year or so, it's got to be a daily thing. And then you can calm it down a bit the longer you get into the recovery. But it's a massive battle. But if he's getting the buzz from football, then that will be half of his battle, because that's what Dele was born to do. Dele is a great footballer. So
Steve, we're going to have to let you go, but thank you very much for that. We appreciate your time. Sports psychotherapist Steve Pope, who joins us on the line, has been working in football for many years, and as he's already mentioned, he's worked in some of those institutions that have helped people come through situations similar to that Dele Alli is facing at this moment in time.